The idea had been nagging at me for some time, perhaps years. Thinking back, the first time I really had it in my head that it might be something for me to try was in the summer of 2007. The Alps race, which takes place once every 2 years, took place that year, and I toyed with the idea of entering. I wasn't really serious, though, at least not then. Scroll forward to 2009, and two friends, Tom and Aidan, competed for Britain. Through them, I became a much more avid spectator, glued to the live tracking, and even spending time on the phone to Aidan, guiding him in Chamonix, and, on the final day, trying to find him in the mountains and in the air. So now here I was, standing in the Mozartplatz in Salzburg, waiting for the start of the most extreme challenge I'd ever had the audacity, perhaps stupidity, to attempt in my life. We'd spent the week preceding this moment at the race HQ, going through equipment checks, briefings, press conferences, and our own final preparations. We'd had a chance to socialise with the other teams, but by the end of the week we just wanted the race to start. The we was my dad and I, Team GBR2, in the race frequently billed as the world's most extreme. I was the one about to attempt to traverse the entire backbone of the Alpine chain by foot and by paraglider. It was, though, my father who had the really tough job. The rules state that each athlete could have one supporter. Dad's job was to do everything necessary to keep me going, including constant food, ensuring I had the right gear with me at all times, planning the route ahead, and even keeping me in one piece, physically and mentally. My role may have required more paragliding experience, in my case, over 20 years, and being on top physical form. I'd been training for over a year for this, but I was certain that when it came down to the race itself, my job was actually simpler. I just had to walk and fly. Dad had to think. That morning had started early with a final race briefing from Hans Arch, race mastermind and well-known pilot from the famous Red Bull Air races. In a short speech, he talked to us about respect, that he understood what it was like to be a competitor, but nevertheless, in this race more than any, there was a need to respect the race and our own safety. It was appropriate and timely. The road through the centre of Fouchel was practically blocked with team vehicles, crowds of people, and the coach, clearly borrowed from the Salzburg ice hockey team, the Red Bulls, that was to take us to Salzburg. Toma Kokania, probably the most famous competitor, being one of only 2 people to compete in this race since its inception in 2003, was being cheered and filmed by throngs of avid fans from his home country of Romania. Meanwhile, I made my way quietly onto the bus and sat patiently for the day to get going. I was a no one in this race, and to be honest, that's the way I wanted it. My plan was just to quietly get on with it. I'd done my homework. In fact, together with my father, we'd spent literally weeks and weeks travelling the route of the race, checking alternatives, calculating height gains and ground distances of alternative paths, and buying maps. Lots of maps. The race is 862 kilometres from start to finish. At least, that is if you follow the straight line between the compulsory turn points spread across Europe's most famous peaks. The reality would, of course, be different. Not even a paraglider can cross the Alps in a straight line, and to complete the race, we were more likely to cover double that. When you've been waiting for something for so long, when it actually comes, it's almost a surprise. And so, with a few minutes to go, we shouldered our packs and wished each other good luck. In this race, every competitor has to carry their paraglider, harness, helmet, reserve parachute, emergency flare, and instruments with them at all times. For a normal pilot, this gear would weigh around 20 kilograms. We are not normal pilots. Our gear is specially made or adapted for this race, and most of us are carrying around 10 kilograms. My pack was 9. The crowd started counting down along with the announcer, and suddenly I realised this was it. We were really going to get started. 5, 4, 3. As we got closer, all I could feel was relief at the waiting finally being over. 2, 1, bang. We were off.